you have to be very strategic. Sometimes you can put a lot of effort into something, but then there are no results. You're not being productive at the end of the day. Maybe you're working long hours, but then that is not really success. No way. Uko tu huku unagongwa na ujui nini inakugonga.
Like haunted house in a Hi guys, I'm Esther, for those who do not know me, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to interview Damaris, because you guys have been seeing her. I know her very well, but in this segment, I'm super excited because this is the first episode and I get to be part of it. So you guys are going to know who Damaris is and her career path, her growth, the journey, how it has been, and you'll see how a great person she is. Yeah, and if you see me looking at my phone, my questions are on my phone. Yeah, that's it. Welcome. And to our first question. So Damaris, hi, how are you?
Feeling good? Feeling excited? Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. So my first question for today, is I want you to explain to us who you are, what you do, in detail, because I know most people just know you as Damaris and you have all these things going on, but I want to get to know you on a personal level.
Damaris is a person who sometimes I say a lot of things, because there was a time I wanted to play the guitar. There was a time I wanted to become a footballer and a cyclist, but I ended up pursuing a career in the leadership space. So I ended up being in leadership and in management. So I did a bachelor's degree in business management and specialized in purchasing and supplies. Only got to practice that a little bit in my internship, but then opportunities here in Kenya are limited in that. Outside work, I do YouTube. For me, YouTube is not just anything. It's not just about waking up and picking the camera. For me, it's about impact. It's about the change I want to see in the world. And for me, if I can maybe just by my words challenge people to think differently, maybe share my experience with people and they get to learn from it, and they are able to grow in their specific fields. So for me, my passion is in personal development, and I say I want people to explore their full potential, because we are, as human beings, we just have so much in us, and if at all we just focus or pay attention, I believe we can become so much. And also in line with that, I find that in the world that we live in a capitalistic state where we do things for the sake of money, and I also chose my career because of money. But if human beings could be allowed to do what they love most, to do things that it's beyond the money, the motivation is something that's within themselves, I believe we can make a better world. Yeah, other than that, I do road trips, I do nature walks, I do hikes. Yeah, but it's been a while, and it's because I've been working from home, and sometimes you find that these things unakujanga 2 years later, ulishapata kitambi, ulishanona, and you never realize when you get to that space. But I'm just trying to reignite my hobbies in where I am right now. So once in a while, I'll go out and just go catch the sunset. Yeah, but with people that I know, I think I'm very interesting. Am I a fun person?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You are. I can definitely say that. That's why we're friends.
Yeah, but some people will think sometimes that I am an introvert. It depends with how we have interacted with you. But I'm cool, peeps. I'm a cool person. Yeah.
So I feel like you've given us a summary of the whole thing, but I want you to take us to the beginning, because through your journey, because I've seen you grow, I feel like you have a lot to tell people. I mean, something that will be able to help others grow from scratch, because like you don't wake up and just be a manager. you became a manager at a very young age, and I'm really proud of you, by the way. So
Thank you.
I would like you to take us from the beginning, where you started. We see your journey step by step.
Yeah. Okay. So I did my internship with the Independent Electoral Commission, Boundaries Commission of Kenya. That's the IBC. I believe IBC receives love and hate in equal measure, depending with the political side or divide that you're in. But yeah, but as an intern, I went in with one goal, and for me, it was hard work. Hard work in the sense of when before I got that opportunity, I remember we were even with you, and we went to industrial area, we went to Nita, and we were trying to search for those attachments. I think I got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one with the Nairobi Water Company. Yours was with the KCC. Yeah, but on the D-Day, when we now wanted to report to our respective stations, we were told those positions do not exist anymore. And this is something that we had waited for like 30 days, because I believe it was like a month.
I mean, it was more because we had to go back to school, and then after some time we had to look for internship again.
Yeah, and for us we were assured because the first day when we went to industrial area, hey, by the way tulitembea, ay.
And I remember the paperwork. You remember how they asked for so much paperwork, and you're wondering it's an internship. It's not even a job yet. You have all these processes I need to submit. I don't know what, and then it's kind of so hard to. It's so hard. Like I can imagine how difficult it is to find a job, and even internships where you not get paid, you still have to struggle.
Yeah, it was intense, and I remember even before that we had done all these things of dropping papers, and by then you think you're the you think you're hot cake, so you think, oh yeah, you go. I remember we dropped our papers in Coca-Cola. We were in Eldoret Unga, and the watchman could just look at you and you knew after nimetoka hapa hizi karatasi zinadropiwa kwa dustbin. And sadly that is what used to happen. And I think there was a time there was also an internship in Kitale. I won't mention the company, but I think it's a parastatal. And when I went there, the person, after seeing my papers and seeing my name, the person just asked me, were there no jobs, internships in your county? So I come from Kitui County, and Kitale is Trans Nzoia County, and that just goes to show you how deeply rooted tribalism is. Yeah, but I didn't give up. I kept on pushing, and I was lucky enough to secure an internship with the IBC. At that time, it was supposed to last for 3 months, but like I said, I had read articles about how interns are made to sweep floors, how interns are made to cook tea, kazi tudogo, photocopy, and all that. So for me, I knew what I was signing up for, and even then I was like, kama ni kuosha hiyo chai, kuosha hizo floors and kupika hiyo chai, mi nitapika. And this is now personal, but I remember the last sermon, I used to go to the CU, but the last sermon that was preached before we went out was all about work. And I'm spiritual, you know that. And how work is holy. So for me, I was going in knowing that it's not even about work alone. For me, it was like a service to God and a service to humanity. So when I went in, it was all hard work, pure dedication, and all that. And when I started that internship, I was not supposed to be paid. But in the second month, they were like, hey, this girl, bana, hey, ebu bring your bank account. I didn't even have a bank account. I went, and I think I had one, but it was dormant. So I went and opened one. And I remember the first time I received my salary. Woo! Yeah. That day, I think I sent money to everyone. I was like, kunywa soda, wepewa, you know? Yeah, that's what happened with my internship.
Tell me what you do right now, like where you are career-wise, in terms of your career, what you do, and your position in the company you're in.
Oh, okay. So I work with the firm that is in the compliance industry, and I lead a team. So I'm a people manager, I'm a team leader. Yes.
So that's good. Because I already know you personally, and I know that you started being a manager at a very young age. But it's like I don't think you just started as a manager. So I'd like you to take us from the beginning where you started. I believe you started as an intern. So after the intern, I think you can start from your first job.
Yeah. So I think my first job was that internship because of when that in the period that internship was scheduled to be, it was extended for a period of time, and then I now landed my first job, which I'm currently in. Yeah. So I started off as a customer service rep, and I was lucky to just rise through the ranks and become a people manager.
Um, you know, when you say you rise through the ranks, I want to know, like, in between what happened. Like, so you got your first job, you were interning for this company, and then, like, what made them hire you as an associate rather than an intern?
Okay, so at that time, from the internship, now coming to this job, it was actually an open position. So I started off as an agent, and then there were other roles hapa katikati. So after an agent, I became a senior supplier advocate, and then a supervisor, and now a manager.
Would you say that since they hired you, and most of us we did these internships and we never got the jobs, like what can you say is like the differentiating factor that made them hire you? Because like some of us we cannot even explain how our internship was over and we were gone. So what was so special that they saw? What do you think they saw that they decided to take you in as one of the agents?
Okay, so first off, this job I was connected by a friend. So I would say even for securing jobs, internal networks is important because if this person was not in this job, then I wouldn't have secured that position. Not in terms of alini connect, but aliniambia kuna opportunity. And then after the opportunity, I got to apply. And for me, it was the value proposition that I had. So going in and interviewing for this role, for me, I believe if I'm going for something, I am giving it 100%. So I did a lot of research about the company. I had questions, basically just a lot of interview prep work. Yeah.
So you'd say your resilience is the main reason why you got the job? Would you say that?
Resilience.
Because you have lazima ujitume for you to get the job, and it doesn't mean that since you didn't get the job that haukujituma, but so I'm thinking maybe the resilience, alafu the connections, the networking. So would you say those were the major?
Yeah, I'll say the dedication first of all in the first position, the dedication in the interview prep work, but all through now my career is where resilience came in. Because when I was coming in as an agent, let's just call it. Sometimes it's luck. There are so many people that interview for these positions daily, and they are as smart as I am. And of course, the best candidate wins, but I believe that sometimes just it's just luck and being in the right place at the right time. But I would say throughout my career, a lot of resilience was required. Yeah.
That's good. So so you were hired. What was your first move? Like I know like sometimes people in the interview they ask you, oh, what will you do in the first 30 days or the first 90 days? But sometimes those things we just say them on an interview just to pass the interview and then get the job. But like what would you say was your that led to your success from the beginning?
Ah, that's interesting. So I will say working smart and also working hard. But about the working hard bit, I came to realize 6 months in that it was not only about hard work. So, first thing into my role, and of course, you know me, I'm a hard worker. Kama ni kazi tunaipiga vile inafaa. But now after working for this company for a certain period of time, a position came in and I was not able to secure it. And now that was the turning point, because after not getting that position and I believed I was working hard, then it got me to now go back to the drawing board and analyze why I didn't get this position while I was feeling that I was ready for it and all that. And I came to realize that it's not about you working hard alone. A lot of people work hard, but it's also about your visibility in the company. In that, if you say you're this, can people actually rise and say that you're actually this? You know. So I'll say visibility, and also being very strategic. Why are you doing things the way you're doing them? What's the main goal? And sometimes you even have to be bold enough to know what you want and actually go for it.
So you've said that working hard and working smart are the reasons for your success. I'd like to know, because sometimes you may work hard and people think that you're overdoing it, or and you need to work smart. So how do you differentiate? How do you make sure that you work hard and you work smart and don't overdo it?
Yeah. So first of all, with working hard, you have to be very strategic. Sometimes you can put a lot of effort into something, but then there are no results. You're not being productive at the end of the day. Maybe you're working long hours, but then that is not really success. And for me, it has to be about the value that you bring, the value that you bring to the team that you're working with, the value that you bring to the organization. That may look like improving processes. That may look like just adding value. If a report is basic, trying to analyze it and coming with solutions to it. Sometimes it's even just looking at the problems that the organization face and trying to provide solutions. So I will say that's the main differentiator. Are you really adding value, and are you being strategic about it?
Oh, that's good. Cause I feel like that's working smart. Cause like when you define working hard, it's like doing a lot of work. So do you still think that working hard is doing a lot of work, or do you think that you can still do your job and work hard even if, because some people give the bare minimum. So how do you know that I'm really working enough? Like how do you know that this work is enough? It's not too hard. It's just, is it, are you supposed to do what you're supposed to do, or do you go an extra mile, or is that
You've asked so many questions in one. So
okay? Let
okay,
me
I got
rephrase
you.
them.
I got you. So when it comes to going an extra mile, what is the benefit of you going an extra mile? Sometimes an extra mile in the customer service space, maybe I'm going an extra mile to find a solution for this supplier before I respond back to him or her. That's going an extra mile. You are doing everything within your power to make sure you are adding value, because you will give a one-time response to this person who is on the other end. And then you've talked about how now do you know you're doing enough, or what is working hard. So I will say here clarity is very important, and sometimes you may even need to have discussions with your manager or with the person who is above you to actually just make sure, is what I am doing necessary enough for me to get to where I'm headed. So just don't work with you just wake up and go to work. Yeah, so you have to question and ask for feedback. Am I even doing it in the right way? Is this quality good enough? Where should I improve when you look at my work and all that? So I believe this asking for feedback is really crucial, because now if you thought it is this particular thing, you're able now to get that clarity first of all, and now when you're working towards something, it's specific. It's not just all over. It's specific, and once you attain it, that's now how you know you have attained success.
That's interesting. It's really interesting because how, because you've explained how to go an extra mile. Don't just wake up, go to the office, do your work, and go back home. Because some of us, that's what we do. Like you just go, oh, this is my work is done, it's perfect, and I feel like I've done my best. So how do I make sure that I'm going that extra mile from that? Like I have my job description. Do I need to go start asking for new things to do? Do I try to improve the ones that I'm working on currently, or how does that work?
So I'll say two things. First of all, it's with what you have. How can you make it better? How can you improve it? How can you just provide a slight change and then it becomes the best thing to ever happen? So if it's a report, are you doing that report meticulously? And are you also doing it efficiently in terms of when it comes to time? So most of organizations value time, and that's why people tend to measure, are you being productive, are you meeting your KPIs, because at the end of the day it's value for money. So first of all, it's with what you have, and then after you've exhausted this, it's looking for new opportunities that can benefit either a particular thing in terms of efficiency. Maybe you will come up with automation, and that means then you have to spend less time. So what you've done is you've saved the company hours or minutes that could have otherwise gone into something else. So it's with what you have, and once you've exhausted this, it's now looking out for more opportunities.
When I look at the conversation we're having right now, it looks like it comes from a point of you've already established like you're steady in your career, and some people are kind of stuck in like the lower positions where sometimes you look at what you need to improve and you can't really find anything to improve. I don't know. Sometimes they say that you will always find something to improve, but at times you can look at your role and you don't see anything you can improve. So how do you encourage this person to grow so that they can be able to be in a position where they can be able to improve processes and um yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, if you are at a position where you're stuck and there's nothing more to do, it's time to move. If there are no opportunities in your internal organization, then it's time to move externally. Because the thing is, even when it comes to our self-esteem and all that, when you look at growth, when you're not developing, it tends to wear you out. So if you cannot move at that particular time, because most of the time, and here in Kenya, even you know the job space and the job market and how it looks like. So what you can do is you can develop yourself. So sometimes we look at what we can do for the organization, but what can you do for yourself? And what can you do for yourself to also make sure that by the time you're getting to a place where you're ready to move to the next role, even if it's not internally but externally, you are actually in a good space. Sometimes it can look like, for me as a leader, just listening to podcasts of leaders who have made it or are successful in their fields. Sometimes it can look like me learning about how to manage change within the organization. So in that particular moment, I'm not doing anything that is within the system, but I'm doing something to improve me as a leader. So that way, I'm not stagnant. There is growth that is taking place within me. And it now gives me that psych, because I know there's something that I'm looking forward to. And yeah, so I will say look for something that's challenging you, either outside the organization or something that you can actually do for yourself that will signify growth.
I'm really glad you brought up the Kenyan job market, and because my question was being stuck in a lower role where you really don't know how to grow from there. But here's the thing, the job market, you know how it is. You know how hard it is to get a job. So I'm stuck and I need to move forward. What do I do?
Sometimes it's patience, because if you cannot change the situation that you're in and you've tried everything that is within you, then what do? Because you have actually tried and you're saying that you've tried.
Yeah, I've
So
tried.
sometimes it's just takes patience, because maybe akajafunguka tu. So it's patience. Sometimes patience is needed.
Okay, and would you say that you're in a career where, like, looking at your education background, would you say you're in the same career path as what you did in school?
Um, yes and no, because our organization deals with the supply chain industry as well. But if I look back and what I wanted to do, maybe I would be a procurement manager elsewhere. But for me, I'm able to see how it connects with what I am doing, the industry that I'm in. Only that it's not what any person, if I tell you I've done purchasing and supplies, you imagine that maybe I'm a procurement manager somewhere. Yeah, but that's not what I do right now.
So we've really gone deep into what you do, um, but I want to see your personality in this because we don't want to see you just as the corporate girl and all that.
Hey,
So
hey.
tell me first of all, I'm gonna take you back and ask some of the questions, some of the personal questions, and then we can combine both of them.
Okay.
So tell me about the things you do on your free time, the things you enjoy.
Yeah. Do I even have free time these days? Tough world. So, during my free time, I love to explore nature. You'll see me on road trips, you'll see me hiking. Sometimes it's just staying indoors, and I'm aging, and sometimes you just want to lay in your couch and do nothing and sleep. That is my main hobby these days. Sometimes if you just get time to rest, I think I appreciate that more. But kitambo, when I was young, those are the things that I was doing. But still looking for opportunities to actually explore. I'm even just looking to go on an adventure alone and see how that looks like.
Once you go, make sure to tell us because we want to try
My
to.
chapters on the road. Stay tuned.
That's really difficult to do. If you can go on a solo trip, please just give me some tips. So you do road trips. You do like to adventures and all that. How do you get the time from your corporate job and you have your own personal time? How do you manage the two of them?
Sometimes it's just being intentional and saying on this Saturday I'm going on a road trip. You have to actually plan ahead, because again there are finances that are required. You just don't wake up and go on a road trip. Not even with this economy. So yeah, you have to plan ahead and actually be really intentional about it. Yeah, I'll say that.
Um, I'm about to say something that is about to counter what you've just said. Because you're saying about being intentional. So most of us, we want to be intentional. But sometimes our jobs, our day jobs, they don't allow that to be intentional. Maybe, for example, I know you personally, and I know you work a lot. It's like your everything is about work. And like me, when I clock out, I'm out. So, how do you make sure that you have your personal time and you don't get to work? And are you able to do that? Are you managing?
Before, it was a challenge, and the reason it was a challenge is because, first of all, I lacked boundaries. I didn't know when to say no. I was just taking everything. Are you able to do this? Yes. Are you able to do this? Yes. So before you know it, you don't even have time for yourself. You don't have time for family. It's all about work, and work is all you do. So I've been able to detach that from my personal life. First of all, it came with knowing how to set these boundaries and actually asking other people to do that. Because if you ask other people that, I'll not search for you past 5, pia wewe usimtafute. So it's two way, and also honoring those boundaries, because if you call me past 5 6, I ain't gonna pick your call. And it's not because um it's just because you want to set these boundaries, and you really have to honor them. So I'll say I have been able to detach that. In the previous years I was not able to do that, honestly, but looking back, last year and this year, I think I've done a lot of self work, and I've dropped the people pleasing aspect of it, I would say. Yeah.
I would say you're improving. I wouldn't say you've dropped it, honestly, because sometimes we're on a call and you're like, hey, someone from work is calling me, and I'm like, why do they have to call you when it's past working hours? No one should be calling you. But anyway, that's another story. So I want to know, how do I start setting boundaries? Because that's really difficult.
You know what? If you know boundaries sometimes, and in the case of saying no, you assume that you're the only person who can help this person with this situation. So also understanding that if you say no, they'll find someone else and they will solve their own problems. So I think once I put that into mind and not coming to be people's saviors, I think that really helped me.
So, okay, that makes sense. But I want to know, other than, or in your personal time, other than not picking calls and setting boundaries and not working, what other thing do you do?
I sleep. Yeah, but for real though, I think, and sometimes you think when you're working from home you've got all the time, uh, but I think it's because you want to make it. So most of the time, if I'm not at work during the weekends, I spend my time strategizing or talking about my company, Ask Damaris. So just looking into the admin work, trying to schedule meetings, trying to plan content. Follow me on Instagram. Yeah, so that is what I actually do aside from work.
So the reason why I brought up this personal aspect of your career, it's because I want to know, you've talked about your company. So that's important too. And how do you, because now that makes you work extra time, because you have to finish your day job. After that, you need to work for your company, and then you still need to have that free time. How do you manage all these things? Because that's a lot with one person.
Honestly, I need a break.
You need a vacation.
You know, the sad thing, even after you go for a vacation, you'll still find the work that you left. So you'll go have fun, and when you're back, it's still there. So you're the only person who has to do it. And for me right now, I wouldn't say that I have a team of people that help me. I think I just have one person. So you find that you are everything. You're the CEO, you're the marketer, you're everything. And sometimes I'm lacking in specific areas, and I can't afford it. I can't afford to hire that specific skill right now. So I'll say it's a challenge, but it's something that I'm willing to put in the work right now. It's ile yenye tutavuna matunda baadaye, but for now I think it's work. It's grind mode. Yeah, lazima ijipe.
Lazima. So I'm thinking, like, now you will bring together your management aspect and your personal and your business. How does first of all, do you think your job helps you get to where you want to be? In terms of your career, like in terms of where you look at yourself in the future, I want to have my own company. Does this job help me towards that goal, or am I just doing it just for the money and getting money to finance my jobs, or what do you think?
You're really putting me on the spot. You're really putting me on the spot on this one. But what I'll say is that, yeah, there are specific skills, attributes that I've learned from being in my day job that has helped me apply onto this other one. So like I said, resilience. So for me to become a manager, like you said, I just didn't wake up and voila. So there was a lot of patience and resilience that was in. And for me right now, it's knowing that this is something that it's in its baby steps, and I just need to be patient with it. Have the right strategies, make sure I'm putting in the work, and in the long run, I believe it will be successful.
I like the way you're making it look so easy, because I know it's not.
It's not.
From,
oh my
from
god.
the conversations we have, I can tell, like, it's not as easy as you make it.
For sure.
So I want to know, how do you manage and make sure that I allocate enough time for my work and my, without any of them suffering?
I've come to realize there's no balance. For real though, sometimes it takes early mornings. I'm not a night person, so I wouldn't say late nights. So early mornings to ensure that I am working on my company, or key things that need to be done very early in the morning, so that by the time it's 8, then I enter into my day job and focus on it. So you know me, I give 100% both ways in all aspects. So I say a lot of sacrifice again is needed. It's not that easy, but for me, I enjoy waking up early in the morning, and during that time, I'm able to move mountains.
Should have asked this question earlier, but I'd really like to know, because you've just mentioned about your company. Like you just said, I have Ask Damaris, and I have. So for me, it just looks like a lot. Like I have, oh, she's a manager, she's a CEO. She said she's. You're doing so many things. You're doing marketing. You're doing everything. You're doing YouTube. You've not even included YouTube on.
YouTube has been suffering. Ask these people. I show up here a month, then I'm gone. But trust you me, with the industry voices, I'm here to stay.
So I want to know, how will you make sure? Because you're saying that you have okay. There's no balance. Let's first establish that.
Yeah.
There's no balance. One has to suffer, and most probably it's your personal work that has to suffer. So how will you ensure that you attain your goals and still work on your normal job?
I think it's sorry. It's one step at a time. So something I've noticed about me is that I want to do sorry, it's okay. It's I want to do everything at once. Call you every night and I have all these crazy ideas and I think I'm going to be the next Bill Gates. But I will say something that I've come to learn is to focus on one thing, one step at a time, I'll say. So right now, whatever I'm doing is just prioritizing and also scheduling content. So I'll shoot on the weekends. So when it's Monday, Tuesday, I'll schedule my content throughout.
So I feel like when I listen to you, and maybe it's because I already know you personally, and I think like I've seen how the journey has been, I've seen everything. But when someone else looking from outside, someone who doesn't really know you, they'd say, "Hey, Dama has so much going on. She has these ideas. She comes up with like, how do you encourage someone who doesn't really have anything going on?"
Oh, okay. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because I've come to understand it's not that people are not trying. People are really trying to make something out of their lives. Um, and sometimes maybe they don't have the financial capability. Sometimes maybe they just don't even have people to support their dreams. And yeah, that's a tough one. So I'll say sometimes, and what I'm learning is being present in the moment, that you've tried everything, but still there are no results, is to live life a day at a time. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. Yeah, is to live one day at a time and just be present and don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Because if you give up hope, then that's it. That's the end of it.
We're going to go into the game segment. I have a few questions on my phone. Not questions. We're going to play Would You Rather, and I already wrote them down. So, and to the first, would you rather lose your sight or your memories?
Oh my god. Oh, that's a tough one.
I know.
Memory? Oh no. Yeah. That's a tough one. That's a very hard one to choose.
Choose one, sight or memories.
Memories, because I have some bad ones.
Are you serious? I thought you'd say something like memories because you'll make new ones. But you said because you have bad ones?
Yeah, because I have bad ones, but I also have the opportunity to make good ones. And sometimes I am not constantly just thinking about things, you know? Yeah.
Okay, the next one. Would you rather have universal respect or unlimited power?
Unlimited power. Who cares about respect?
So you'd rather just people not respect you at all as long as you have the power?
People out here are disrespectful as hell. So at least if I have the powers, nitawanyamazisha.
That's really weird. You need to think about it.
Yeah.
But power is good, but without respect, I don't know.
It depends what type of power.
What kind of power would you want?
Authoritative.
So would you rather be a president who's not loved by anyone,
Yeah.
but you're still the president?
Yeah, but I get shit done.
Okay. The next one. Would you rather spend a week in a forest or a night in a real haunted house?
Hey, a forest.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think okay.
A week
In the forest.
in a forest or a night in a real haunted house.
I love adventures, and I've been watching people camping.
Do you think being left in a forest, it's not as glamorous as it sounds? Because can you imagine you cannot leave this forest?
Yeah.
You only have trees to work with, and you cannot be able to.
Is this forest invaded by wild animals? Because
a forest is a forest. A forest has everything. It has the animals. It has.
I'll cry. But then I think I just find solace. It always works out. I'll make some fire and I will go. If that forest has a river, I'll get fish and then I'll have smoked fish. And then
you even know how to make fire by.
I've been watching a couple of movies.
Movies and reality is two different things.
Okay, we'll know when we get there.
But you'd rather be in a forest for a week?
Yes, a haunted house.
For just a night?
No way.
It's just a night. Like after that night, I'm out.
No way. No way. Uko tu huku unagongwa na ujui nini inakugonga.
Like haunted house inaweza kuwa creepy but haitakuwa ati. It's just creepy. Like maybe you're opening the door unasikia
You know when you're in such a situation,
just one night and then you'll be done.
When you're in such a situation, even morning does not come. For real though, have you ever tried sleeping when you're just even having, it's your own thoughts, but your own thoughts are preventing you from sleeping? Now imagine a haunted house.
I think we're very different when it comes to these things, because I'd rather something that ends immediately rather than something that I have to spend a whole week.
I can't stand the torture.
Can you imagine being in a forest? You'll be trying to find fish. First of all, you don't even know how to fish.
Who told you?
Fish?
Who told you?
You need to start fire. You don't even know how to start
fire. There are wild
fire.
fruits. I've ever eaten wild
And then
fruits.
when you go to sleep, you just put your head down and then a lion comes.
No. You will sleep on the branches.
That's really weird. Anyway, so for the last, would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life?
Let's pause. Yeah, let's pause for a second.
Yeah. Now that you said it, it makes sense.
Yeah, because
the world is too fast.
Yeah, let's pause. In fact, I'm at a point where I think I just need a break from everything. It's only that we're living in a very capitalistic world where kidogo things have moved. You blink once, the world has changed. So I'm at a place where I just want calmness and to just pause and listen to my thoughts, Yeah.
But that's lonely. That sounds so lonely.
I actually crave solitude.
I understand craving solitude, but when you're already in that moment, I don't think it lasts that long. It's just for a moment. You just need to stop.
You need to be okay with yourself, because if you're in that moment and you're okay with yourself, then it becomes easier.
Yeah. So we've established who you are. We've known that you're a manager. You work through all these things. So tell us the key things that helped you go through, like rise through the ranks.
Yeah. So, like I said, strategy, and also just putting in the work. And also, don't just put in the work, have these conversations with your manager or your team lead and ask for feedback. So even ask them, what am I supposed to do to get to this position? And they will give you a list of items you're supposed to accomplish. And once you tick all of them, then you go back to them and, hey, I did this, you asked me to do this, and I did this, I think I'm ready. And you, from that, maybe there will be an outcome. So some organizations have a progression framework, some don't. You stay in your role until you can't, then you move. Yeah, but I'll say ask, then work towards it, and then once you have accomplished what you've been asked to do, then go back to them. I think people are afraid to have these conversations, or rather they will think somebody will notice. Somebody will not notice. And sometimes even for your own accomplishments, you have to blow your own trumpet. And this is a challenge, especially I've seen with introverts. And in such cases, I would say just make your team lead or manager aware of what you're doing, because at times we assume people know, but they really don't know, and you have to go and tell them.
That makes it's hard. Like, I wouldn't say that I've really understood what you've said. I have kind of gotten something, but sometimes it's not as linear as it sounds, and it's not even about, oh, I need to go ask my manager. I need to do this. I need to do that. Sometimes I understand that maybe it's, I don't even have a job. There's nothing to do this. Like, it's, life is challenging out here, and so for people who want to start their own companies, what would you advise them?
Well, am I even? I'm already starting my own company right now, so I don't think I have even the experience to advise anybody on that. But I've been lucky to take some entrepreneurship courses. I'll just say, just start. This is the thing with just starting, is you, and this is something I struggled with, wanting to be perfect from the onset. But I had a quote, can't remember who it was from, and the person was saying that if it's perfect, then there's nothing more to it. There's nothing more to improve. There's nothing more you can do about it. So I'll say just start, because when you start, you're able to learn as you go, and also look for continuous improvement. Like I said, there's some areas that I'm struggling with when it comes to marketing. I have now to go ahead and learn some courses on sales and marketing and the social media space and branding and all that. Yeah, so I'll say if I didn't start, then I couldn't know, maybe I need to go back and do these things. Yeah, so I'll just say just start with what you have.
So my next question is, what challenges do you face and how do you deal with them?
Challenges in my career?
Yeah, in your career, in trying to figure out everything.
Okay, so I'll say as a people manager, managing people with different personalities, uh, different characters, people with unique talents and abilities, and sometimes you have to bring them together. Sometimes people are dealing with their own stuff and you have to support them. So also creating that balance, or gaining that balance when it comes to supporting your team, because I've come to notice that your team will not function at its optimum if they're facing stuff behind the scenes. So you should create an atmosphere where they can trust you to actually come and say when things are not working out.
What are your last words? Like, a word of advice to someone who's struggling in the corporate world, and other, you can say, like, for someone who's struggling on the corporate world and those that are still trying to get into the corporate world, like, what would you advise them?
Okay, for somebody who's struggling in the corporate space in terms of there's no growth, or there's no, you're not feeling, things are not moving, or your career is at a plateau stage, is try to reinvent yourself, try to come up with strategies for your own growth. Invest in your own personal and career development. Sometimes you need to just seek out even just mentorship to ensure that in your line of work that you're doing the right thing, or you're doing whatever is required. And like I said, ask for feedback, and ask for feedback by all means. And I know there are some workplaces that do not give these opportunities. You don't even have this culture where you can go and ask your boss for this kind of information. So I'll say in terms of that, sometimes it's difficult, especially if you have a toxic boss. Um, but yeah, if you have the right environment and the right culture, I would advise you to seek out this mentorship and opportunities. For somebody who is struggling to get work, I'll say again, change your strategy or change tact. If you've tried something and it's not working out, maybe you need to leave that and try something else. And for anyone who wants to now get into the corporate space, so first of all, if you're starting out straight from campus, unpopular opinion, take that job while starting out. Ukianza wacha kuchagua kazi, fanya ile kazi yenye inajipa. Hiyo ndio kazi itakusaidia kubuild experience, and in the long run utaendelea kubuild the necessary skills that are required. If you're still starting out, I will say look into your CV and cover letter, and now try and tailor it to the specific job description. Just don't copy paste ati CV tu moja unatumanga kwa all companies or cover letter moja tu. So try and customize and tailor it to that specific job that you are applying in. And again, this is also from somebody I listened to, the Career Whisperer. Anasema some jobs will never be advertised. So you now, even in my case, if singejua this person, then I wouldn't have secured the role. So I will say also network, ask people, use and optimize LinkedIn, and yeah, that's it.
I know I said the final question. Can I ask one more question? Do we need mentors in the corporate life? Like, do you think it's important to have them? Like, will that help in the growth?
Yeah, it's important because it makes now the journey much. Now if it was supposed to take a longer time, you'll take a shorter time, because the mentors will equip you with the necessary skills and knowledge that you need to advance in your career. I don't think I have a specific mentor, but I make it a point to learn from different people who are ahead of me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You've answered all the questions, and I've gotten some tips, 1 and 2 tips from this conversation, and I'm really glad that you had me interview you as the first video for this segment.
Thank you. You really asked tough questions.
You're saying that I ask tough questions. I don't think they're that tough because they're things that you go through on a daily basis. So I was sure you'll be able to answer them.
I hope I answered them sufficiently.
You did. Thank you.
Thank you.